Well, I will actually say Honorable President Pires, former president of Cape Verde and president of the Pedro Pires Institute, not present physically here in the hall, but his message will be streamed live shortly. I will greet the mayor of Bogota in a minute because he's still not with us. Yvonne Abaki, UNESCO Goodwill Ambassador, a remarkable artist and politician and fighter for peace from Ecuador. Your Excellency Fernando Bagnon, Ambassador of the Republic of Cape Verde to the United Nations. Your Excellency Walter Zepeda Chavarria, Ambassador of Guatemala to Lima. Your Excellencies, Ambassadors and members of the Diplomatic Corps, ladies and gentlemen, friends and colleagues of Aussie family. It is with enormous pleasure that I'm opening this inaugural conference of the Ocean Security Initiative on the eve of the 20th Conference of Parties to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. To those who do not know us, I should like to outline very briefly that OSCE is a powerful catalyst and facilitator, a complement to the efforts made by governments and intergovernmental agencies through informal diplomacy. Many of those in the room form part of political and technocratic arms of OSCE, gathered on the Policy Advisory Board and Scientific and Academic Board. Moreover, through private-public partnership, we are also marking at this conference the creation of the third arm. Like, you know, some gods in India do have several arms. We have more than two. And that is the Corporate Advisory Board, consisting of captains of industry worldwide. Our greatest asset, I believe, is a concerted effort to promote dissemination of good practices and innovative strategies within South-South dialogue. I was born and raised in the first world, but now live in, and I'm a citizen of Colombia, and thus acutely aware of the fact that we have a great deal to learn from experiences within the bloc of Asia, Pacific, Africa, and the Caribbean, Central and South America. We need to learn from errors made through poor management of our coastal and marine resources, but also replicate good practices through concrete projects on the ground, and this is the main mission of OSCE. It is comforting to know that the message that prudent management of sea uses is a prerequisite for sound social and economic development is finally catching up with political leaders. As Mr. José Ramos Horta, the Nobel Peace Laureate, the former president of Timor-Leste, and an esteemed member of OSCE Policy Advisory Board, reminds us in his message that the government of Indonesia recently created a new Marine Affairs and Fisheries Ministry, giving this portfolio to a senior minister. Equally, South Africa, through its president Jacob Zuma, created last month the so-called Operation Fakisa, placing marine affairs at the core of its program to meet challenges of dealing with poverty and unemployment in its 2030 economic development plan. And all of us in OSCE are very excited to be entering into a strategic partnership with the government of South Africa, and I'm personally proud to be a part of this process, having lived and worked in 26 African countries. In fact, one of our future projects is forging of links in the field of management of marine and coastal resources between sub-Saharan Africa and the Caribbean, Central and South America, and we look also forward to partnering with 35 nations through strong association of the Caribbean states. Most panelists and speakers at this two-day event are members of OSCE Advisory Board, and I must say that I'm truly proud of the OSCE family, which has emerged over the last 2 years, a true treasure trove of some of the finest political leaders and technocrats. We work as a family of like-minded people, united in our desire to respond to challenges of climate change, prevention and response to disaster, search for solutions to achieve clean energy, promote sound waste management, and management of coastal and marine environment. And we do so regardless of political and religious differences. And in fact, this is witnessed here by the presence at this meeting of Catholic Archbishop Ledesma of Cagayan de Oro on the island of Mindanao and Bishop Tendero of the Council of Evangelical Churches of the Philippines. I'm very proud of the family spirit which prevails in OSCE and will do my utmost to ensure that we continue working in this fashion. I'm very grateful to the messages of support to OSCE, some of them in the printed program, which you have, and many more that keep on coming from leading figures in the UN system and a broad spectrum of governmental leaders from Guatemala, Cape Verde, South Africa, Colombia, the Philippines, the Russian Federation, and Kazakhstan. And now also from academic sector, today, for example, from 16 universities from Spain and Portugal grouped in CETRAD, and also the Spanish Institute of Oceanography. I look forward to hearing contributions from those participating in the panels on climate change adaptation and disaster risk reduction and management, on environmental protection and management, on the sustainability strategies and measures on waste, energy, and related concerns. As we are a non-governmental organization, I'm confident that, like in the past, in the capable hands of Dr. Stephen Lintner at the back of the room with the Father Christmas beard, so you can all recognize him, we shall come up with a good OSCE Lima Declaration on South-South Dialogue, a true blueprint for our future program, which Commissioner Alvarez very generously agreed to present through the delegation of the Philippines to the ministerial segment of COP20. Last, but certainly not the least, and nobody will understand this better than Cecile Alvarez, who has been a source of inspiration to me for 18 years when we began working in the Philippines, and Ivona Baki. The future is obviously in the hands of the young generation. And we strongly believe that it is education which can become the most powerful tool in creating green thinking. And it is for this reason that we organized a competition in primary schools in Cartagena in Colombia, Guayaquil in Ecuador, Praia in Cape Verde, and Manila in the Philippines, asking children to portray their vision of the clean ocean and climate change adaptation. Now, you have them here on the extreme right. You have them from Ecuador. On the left, the large painting, actually the copy, was given to Madame Bokova, Director General of UNESCO, at a meeting which we had with her at Rio Plus 20. And I believe this large panel here on the left, the original was given to Secretary General of the UN, Ban Ki-moon. And you have here the paintings from Philippines, and those on the extreme right are from Cape Verde. We shall declare the winners of this competition tomorrow in the categories in Africa, Colombia, Philippines, and Ecuador. And Cecile Guidotte Alvarez, Director of UNESCO Dream Center, with whom I organized a similar competition in Manila 18 years ago, will disseminate the work of this young generation through UNESCO network across the world.